Organ donation is such an important matter in medicine. Yet in our communities, in the society, it is a topic that is hardly spoken about or mentioned or entertained. And for some, they might even think of it as taboo because of, our own cultural beliefs. But things are slowly changing surrounding this topic. So this is a Dr. Tebz show where we're putting your health back into your hands. Today, I'm having a very special guest. His name is Dr. Motheri Lephoi. He is a qualified doctor who's currently specializing in cardiothoracic surgery. And not only that, he's also the ambassador for the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa. That is absolutely amazing. It is such a privilege to have him come speak to us about this topic that I believe is very close to his heart. And so, yeah, I hope that you watch till the end so that you can consider being an organ donor. So thank you so much, Dr. Lephoi, for joining me today on this episode.
Thank you for having me, Tebz.
Yeah, so let's talk about organ donor on organ donation. Why is this important?
I think one has to first understand, the need of organs in people. So this plays a role in patients where we have certain illnesses that are beyond medical care. And so basically what we are saying for those people is that we're not going to have any other way to treat them. And the only best way would be to replace the organ that is struggling with them. So it plays a huge role in what actually can benefit someone out there who otherwise has no other option of getting better. But more so, why do we talk about it? Because we have very low turnover of organ donation in South Africa. Not just a South African problem, but a global problem.
Yeah.
So we're seeing very few people who register as organ donors. And there may be many reasons why that is the case. So why is it important? It is important for everyone to know about it, potentially become an organ donor. As the slogan I believe in, which is also part of the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa, is that it is a gift of life.
Sure.
So if when, in your last day on earth, if you can give something that was still so vital in your body, it's a gift of life to someone else that still has some years to live for.
Sure. Yeah, the gift of life. I love the way you said it, that at the end of your journey, you can then pass it on to someone, And so as a person who's now considering, I hope people are considering becoming organ donors, which organs are, donated and,
At the moment, I think we broadly talk about, the heart, lungs, kidneys, the liver, as life-saving organs.
Yes.
But generally, people can also donate the skin. They can donate their corneas as well as a gift for those that have blindness. And then there's also a few other, which I really won't go much into, but, of late, people can donate the bones as well as some other connective tissues. But I think most importantly, when we talk about the organs, it's the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, as well as the liver, mostly those as the life-saving organs.
Okay, so literally one body could actually help so many people.
Yes.
Literally.
We generally say about, I think one body could save about 7 lives, really.
Sure.
Yeah.
That is significant.
It's quite significant, and I think you add so much to someone's well-being that still can have such a huge impact in the community. And I think it's a very good way of giving away something, as I said, that is very vital of you. So it's a topic I'm very passionate about.
Yeah, sure. So we've got donors, né? So we've got living donors. We'll start here. There's living donors and there's deceased donors. what is the difference between these two people?
So the living donor would be someone who is able to give off a particular organ while they are still alive. So, for example, that would be a kidney, because a healthy human being should be able to live on one kidney. So in that instant, that person is able to donate the other kidney while they're still alive, and they carry on with their life for however long they will still live with that one kidney. And then you also have a few instances where a person may be able to donate a part of their liver, because that part that is taken off may still be able to regrow. So the section that is taken out can then be, you know, for example, implanted into someone with a smaller body, for example, a child. So those are mainly the two organs that can be used in that regard. And for a deceased donor, then this is someone that basically dies. So at the end of their life, they are, however, in a good medical care, that we are still able to preserve the organs and so that they are able to be used, you know, in someone. So the difference there is that this is someone who's dying, and we can harvest as many organs that are healthy, and as I said, many other tissues as well that may be available.
Okay, so because you know how in our culture we honor our relatives by preserving their bodies. So I think that's why a lot of people don't become organ donors, because they're thinking we rip the body apart into pieces. So can you just give a nice overview of how do we do organ harvesting, and is the body still okay after we've harvested the organs?
Thank you. I think that's a very important question, and one of the things I must say, when I started taking part as part of my job in really being part of the surgeons during organ harvesting, was just to appreciate how much the healthcare workers as a team, first of all, give honor to the body that is before us, from which we're going to procure the organs. And as ethics do allow, whenever we do such kind of work, it's really with utmost respect to the human body itself. So we still do that just as though we are operating on someone who's alive. We still respect the tissues in every way, and when we finish the operation, we make sure that the body is closed off. In just like I said, in a way that, you know, if we had operated a person, we would still close. And so there's nothing that is done in any haphazard way, because in the end, the organs that are being harvested have to come out in a good condition. And I think, you know, we do that with full respect of the body, but with full respect of the organs. But I think the most important thing is how much the mood usually in the operating theater is that of so much respect to the body that is before us. So it's really a neat operation that is done, and the loved ones of the body from which we get the organs after that, they will still find a very presentable human body, that if they want to see their loved one or they want to bury their loved one, they will still bury someone that they can recognize, someone that still looks like how they would have known him.
Sure. I'm like getting chills just listening to you, because it sounds so, the word serene is not the word, it sounds so, it's like an honor, like I don't know how to put it, but it's heavy, it's got weight. That moment, because someone is giving. The greatest gift, and there's a saying that says the greatest gift you can give someone is to lay down your life for them.
I think that's the best example of that, where, you know, the person who's giving can absolutely get nothing out of it himself, but so they give the best on everything of who they are. So. And as I said, it's you always feel very privileged, really, when you are part of that, to witness such an incredible, move of because you have to accept it's a tough time for the family, it's a tough time for the loved ones, but in that very same moment of things being that tough, it's also a very good space where they say, well, we're gonna give off this best that we have. So it's usually a very moving time even for the surgeons when you do that operation.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, and not to hop too much on this, but I'm thinking when that, because majority of the people who we harvest the organs from the bodies, they've been brain dead, so their heart is still going.
Yes.
And that moment when it just goes dee, and it's it's over. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry. But I mustn't cry. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, that's a your job. I respect you, sir. I really honor you, because that is a very heavy moment, I think for any human being to be in that space where life ends and yet another one is given that opportunity. Yeah. So in that same spirit, when a family has someone who is now in the event that the person is in ICU, the doctors have spoken to them and said, listen, you know what, there's nothing else we can do. The person's never going to wake up again. And they are not organ donors. Yeah. Yeah. Can they, as a family, still choose to donate, to have the person become an organ donor? Yes,
absolutely. So a family member is able to bring that up to the treating doctors, and we do allow that, we can have such a discussion with the family. But even more so is that the physicians themselves may bring it up to the family to say, look, your loved one is passed on. We do have what we call transplant coordinators in most of our hospitals that participate in organ in transplant work. So they will approach the family to say, would you possibly consider for your loved one to donate organs? But I thought the other important thing to bring is the fact that, so even for a registered person, upon their passing, when we get to know the information that they were indeed a registered organ donor, we still have a meeting with the family. Okay. We don't just proceed to harvest the organs. And yes, there may be instances where even the family may turn that down to say, look, maybe for whatever reason we don't feel comfortable anymore to proceed with this. But the point I'm making is that for us to continue with the process of procuring the organs, we still have to make sure that we get the blessing from the family. Okay. That everyone is on board with it and everyone is happy with it. And we then only proceed once we have that go-ahead from the family. So in an instant where they are the ones who think of it first, we most happy actually to have such an instance. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that people can register to become organ donors.
Yes.
So how do they do that? How do they become registered for that? And once they do that, I'm going to combine two questions. The second part of it is, who do they tell to say, listen, this is a major step I've taken and this is what I wish if this ever happens,
So the custodian at the moment that deals with organ donation is the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa. So, we always share that actually the registration process is the quickest thing anyone can do. It really takes less than 60 seconds.
Oh.
And because at the initial step of registration, you don't need to be checked for any medical conditions or anything like that, because the truth is you register and you're still going to live your life.
Exactly.
So it's really just about capturing your details and everything. And where does one register? They have to visit the ODF website. It's odf.org.za.
Okay.
And there is a caption there that you once just click on to register. And like I said, it really takes less than 60 seconds. And once that is done, then it gives cue to the office to give you a call. So then the office will give one a call to just, clarify a few other things. and also gives one an opportunity to ask any other questions that they may want to ask. And once the person is registered, the advice then is they have to discuss with their close family members. So someone in the family has to know that you're a registered organ donor. It also just helps so that in the end, there's no confusion that, you know, if there's anyone who objects to it, it should be something that you can discuss while alive to say, you know, why would you want to do that? And
exactly.
So that in the end, when, you know, upon your passing, there's no people that only in the end are seeking answers to say, but why would you consider something like that? So we often advise that, you know, it's better when once you're registered, speak to your family about it, make them understand, especially if maybe they are objecting to it. But if they support it, then it's going to be easier for us to handle everything even at the end.
Okay. And you mentioned that you don't necessarily have to look for medical conditions and so forth, but are the people who are not eligible to become organ donors? Or everybody's invited?
Everyone is invited. There's really not anyone who's, like, everyone is eligible, really, in broader terms. Of course, when it comes to the point where someone passes on, then the body has to be reviewed to say which organ can be used and which organ may not be used. And so that's the only matter in the end that we can review to say, okay, this particular organ is no longer that healthy to be used, but this organ is. So it will be mostly about which organ is available at that point, but generally everyone is welcome to be an organ donor.
Okay. And in South Africa, because you mentioned that there's the hospitals will have, you know, and a transplant coordinator and so forth. So in South Africa, where do we do, you know, organ transplants? Where are they, you know, performed?
So it happens in most private hospitals, and a few public hospitals. So, for example, in Cape Town, in terms of the public hospitals, Groote Schuur as well as Red Cross, and I think Tygerberg in terms of maybe some liver transplants and kidney transplants. And then other institutions such as in Durban or Johannesburg as well as Pretoria, they do take part as well, which of course it's still a concern that quite few hospitals are able to, you know, offer such a treatment. But it's multifactorial. I think once the number of people that are donors increases, then it then makes sense that most of the hospitals are able to offer that. But at the moment, it's really just the hospitals I've mentioned in the main cities that take part in that, and a few private hospitals.
Okay, wow, this conversation has been very enlightening, very, very enlightening, and you've given such a beautiful, comprehensive overview, but also deep. That I think everyone at home who's watching understands, you know, what is it to be an organ donor, why is organ donation important, and so forth. So, do you have any, or what are your closing thoughts, rather?
I think. Really, my two things. One is the other way I've embarked on in terms of creating awareness is to use, you know, running as part of that. So we did Two Oceans and we did Comrades. We're currently building up for the Cape Town Marathon, which is happening in October. And I think people can keep an eye on the social media posts as well as any social media pages for the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa as well. I always feel that when you notice that, you know, people that just live like you in the community are out there to exercise, out there to look after themselves, but are the very same people that are saying, hey, let's consider being organ donors. It's a way that can help someone actually think, you know, this is something I can do. So it's just to encourage people to really be out there, be active, you know, exercise, eat well, sleep well, and in the end we can preserve ourselves and hopefully be able to be of a good gift to someone in the end. And I think just the last thing also is the fact that it's a long journey to educate our society, and I think what we are doing today is just the opening remarks of the long journey that we should continue to have. Changing cultural beliefs, changing religious, concerns. It's going to take a while.
Yes.
But it's better when we can have just one person at a time beginning to consider organ donation, that we can then infiltrate, communities, infiltrate religious communities, such that discussions about organ donation can be held.
Exactly.
Whether in churches, in mosques, everywhere.
Yes.
We should be able to easily talk about this. And so my hope is that, as we slowly start having ways to broadcast discussions on organ donation, that it can become a topic that can easily be held at the dinner table, be held at the braai with friends, be held at a party with friends, to say, what are your reasons not to be an organ donor? Can we talk about that? So
100%, 100%. But I can't let you leave without me asking you about being an ambassador of the Organ Donor Foundation.
Yes.
Because I think, number one, I just want to know, your passion, your work in it quickly. And secondly, where can people follow you, find you, so that they can also, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you're now going to run these races, I want them to find you. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Threads.
Yes.
Just as Motheri Lephoi, Dr. Motheri Lephoi.
Yes.
And of course, people can also find a lot of information on Organ Donor Foundation Informa.
Okay.
That's the Facebook page that belongs to the Organ Donor Foundation. But I'm glad that my interaction with other stakeholders or other people that have interest in transplant, such as South African Heart Association, South African Transplant Society. If you look into their pages as well, you'll find information about what I do with a couple of friends that have joined us. So, people can follow any of those pages and they'll find information. But if you follow any of my social media pages, you'll find out what we are preparing for.
Yes.
And any other exciting opportunities that come with that. It's always nice to find people join such movements. So I'm happy to, at the moment we have a group of runners that we'll be running with in the Cape Town Marathon. We quite a good number of runners, and we'll be wearing a certain way, so people are always welcome to join such movements as well. And it's better when we are a bigger voice, and we are a recognizable group, that people can also begin to realize that, what we're talking about, it's something that everyone else is considering.
Exactly. I love the fact that you say, come, join us.
We want everyone to be part of it.
Yeah, because your voice, you could be that voice in your community. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Lephoi, for being with me today. I'm so inspired and really encouraged that we are going to make a difference.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for giving us a snippet into the world of giving life at the end of your journey.
Yes. It's really like the best gift anyone can give. And we phrased it like that. So our movement is called Running for the Gift of Life. And that's what we try and achieve when we go for our runs, to say to the community, hey, please consider this.
Yeah, running for the gift of life. Yeah. Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you so much, viewers, for watching this episode. I hope that you have learned a lot about being an organ donor, what is the importance of being an organ donation. And if you would like more information about this, we're going to put all those links, you know, to Dr. Motheri Lephoi's social media platforms, and also to the Organ Donor Foundation of South Africa. We'll put all those links in the description box below so that you can just click and you'll find it right there. But if you have any other comments, questions, please leave them in the comments and we will get back to you. And yeah, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and push the notification button so you will know when we post our next episode. So until next time, please do take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember, your health is in your hands. God bless.